Okay, so we finally here doing the full tutorial to build a rig like this. Um, but first I just wanted to showcase a little bit of this. So you can see all the controllers, the face controller, the body. So this body orientation controller, this is what I use to swap the body, to the different angles of the body. Let me see if I go there. So you see this functionality I've put in. So when I'm on the front, everything over here is just the front head. So if I move these heads around, it's just the front heads that swap. This controller that controls the head, you'll see it will only reveal the front heads. And it's only when the body goes past profile to quarterback does it swap to the back view. Yeah, cool. So I went with instead of like a smooth body rotate like you saw on the Luffy video or on the Dorothea video, I went with a more drawing swap approach, just so it can be a little bit more lightweight. Just because I know my me not having at least 30 gigs RAM and the amount of stuff I wanted to put in this rig, because this rig not only can it do a full 360, not only can it do full or like turn like a full 180 on both ways, and also I can turn the mask on and off. It has multiple mouth shapes. When he looks up and down, you can see the head distorting when he's looking up and down. When he's on his quarter front head, even we just switch this to full. When he raises his eyebrow, you can see the shadow under his eye distort with it. So I knew I had a lot of stuff I wanted this rig to have and be able to do, and the type of poses I wanted to achieve with it, because I have a whole animation planned out that I wanted to do with it. So I thought, okay, let me rather do a body swap rig first and then do a smooth rotate rig, so where the body will just rotate smoothly and the head will rotate smoothly, and that can be used for close-ups. So it's nice to have a rig that is like has all the functionality and you can control with ease, and instead of having like a rig that's super heavy with all this stuff when you're not really gonna see that nice movement unless you close up on the camera. Because like Miles Morales or any spider character like we've seen in the movies, a lot of the swinging and flipping and all that's very quick. So if I had to animate him, which I will still coming up, swinging and flipping, him going from pose to pose will happen so quick. You're not gonna feel the swap. So it's kind of like when you see me do the turnaround, the character turnaround in the previous video I posted, it feels fairly smooth because it's very quick. But if I did a slow turnaround, you will feel there's a little bit of a snap, and you see there's some shifting of the shoulders before the body swaps to the next thing. So this is just so I can position the shoulders nice on the pose itself, and I can move the shoulders a bit, like slightly. So if I had to make him walk in this angle, I get like slight movement on the shoulders. So very subtle, not too much to break the illusion. Yeah, I decided also not to go with After Effects shape layers for the entire build. I kept these as Illustrator work files. Also just to save on my RAM so that that's not too intensive on my machine. So you can see on full it chugs a bit, but it's all good. As long as you can get your poses out. You can see also on the, when this mask is on, there's some, I created some eye distortions as well so that he can blink and express himself even with his mask on. See, when I turn the head, it's still there. Okay, I think that's enough of this, of what this rig can do. Okay, new project, here we go. So first of all, when you're gonna create a rig like this and you want to have the rig have a full 360 rotation, or even just rotate from front to 3/4 or front to profile, you want to make sure all those views are designed, fully designed. So as you can see here, I have a Miles front view, quarter front, profile, quarter back, and the back. So you want to make sure all of these are designed beforehand, not just designed, but also everything's placed in their proper layers, and you have markers putting showing where your pivot points are. For his chest, you can see I tried to get like the old spray paint feel for his chest symbol, just like I had it on in the movie. The suit's supposed to resemble more of the Spiderverse movie suit, the first movie. And just some parts you'll see like this, like the normal costume, this goes all the way, these all connect. But I thought for this rig, just having them connect, when the body parts move around, the webbing tend to break a bit, so the pattern tends to break off from the other parts of the bodies. So that's all fine. Like I could have built this rig where this pattern is on its own layer as it is, and then when the body is in a certain part, so I animate the whole scene as normal, animate the shot as normal, and then do another pass, a cleanup pass, where I make sure all the webbing matches up to each other in the different sections. But I didn't want to, like, I know this isn't gonna go to any big production or anything, and this is just for fun and for you guys. So I didn't want to go that deep into the design to make it that extremely accurate. But by all means, if you want to go ahead and do this, I'm making all the Illustrator files for this rig available on my Patreon. This is regardless of whether you a tier 1 or tier 2 subscriber. This will be free. Just give me a follow on Patreon and you can grab this for free with the post I'm going to put up after I'm completely done with this tutorial. So yeah, you'll have access to all these Illustrator files, and then you can change it to your heart's desire and edit the rig how you would like it to be. So yeah, so this is the front view. So the whole stylization of the character, I pulled a lot of reference from an artist called let me just get her name, artist called Mavis Ruiz Cruz. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing her name correctly, but her work's amazing. Definitely check out on ArtStation. She has really amazing work. So as you can see, I pulled a lot of reference for how she stylizes the faces and stuff. I didn't, not 100%, but a lot, just to get the feel of how she designs her characters. And that's what I did there. So as I said before, everything on its own layer. I even have all the mouths in there. I named the mouths so that you can see which is the happy mouths and which is the sad mouths. So if I just go to the GUI, so the GUI meaning graphics user interface. So this is where I put all the mouths on one panel, so you can see them all there. But there's also, so beneath this you can see the profile mouths. So that had to be made separate, because when his head's in profile you're only going to see one side of the mouth, so that had to be made separate. And if I go to the profile artwork, just to show you guys this, turn off the mask. Each mouth has its own jaw with it. So this is so that when the mouth opens, you will see a little, you can see that? So you can see the jaw moves with the mouth. So with the front view, I rigged this in the builds. I'll show you guys how to do this as well. So where the jaw does move as the mouth open in both the front view and quarter front view. Yeah, so that's it on the Illustrator side. You guys are welcome to post questions, and I'll answer as best I can for all the details on this section. This eyes over here, I just want to touch on this. So I made like a layer to just show how the eyes should look on his head, that reference layer. And when I turn the reference layer off, you can see the eyes without the eyelids, and then I can turn on the eyelids like this. So you can see the eyelids are like, this isn't how it looks like compared to the reference layer. So I made these little blank shapes. So these are going to serve as masks, so that I can get this look that I was going for, like that, and cuts off and doesn't mess with this look here with the shadows around the eyes. So I put masks there to ensure that each eyelid's going to be masked correctly, so that it looks like this in the end. So it's good, it's useful to have a final design, final look of your character, even when you're going to rig these pieces. You probably want to be way bigger than the actual eye itself, so that you can move these around in your rig and have these masked out, so that when it sits like that, then something else is masking it out. You don't want to place any clipping masks inside of Illustrator, or if you're doing it in Photoshop, you don't want to place any masks inside of Photoshop to achieve that. You want to do that when you're building the rig. So you don't have to, if you want to create your own rig, you don't have to build it in Illustrator as I have. I only chose Illustrator so that it's easier. If you guys would like to edit this or manipulate this, it would be a lot easier than you having to like repaint over everything and all that. Illustrator doesn't require like strong painting background or anything, just a know-how of the program to manipulate things. Yes, a little bit design knowledge, but just knowing how to maneuver around the program and move stuff and delete stuff, you can get away with a lot and edit a lot as is. So I thought the learning curve will be a lot easier to edit artwork, and especially if you want to go and turn this into the Across the Spiderverse Spider-Man, you can always just remove these pieces and give him the plain black suit and turn these pieces red, so that it looks more like the Across the Spider-Verse look. Just backspace. Cool. So just a little bit more on the GUI. So this this one used to be this one. So this is what it looked like originally. So this is more reminiscent of the other rigs you'll see on my channel. This I had, I only did front, quarter front and profile, and I thought I was going to do a separate one for back view. I even built in another swap, a switch to turn it from back to front, to turn this orientation to back, and then it would also swap the character to back, and then these will control the back, quarter back and profile as well. these mouths are set up this way so that it can be smooth mouths. So meaning they all start at rest on the normal, and then if you pull the controller to the right, they will then morph to the mouth shape that's showing you on this panel. So this was set up like that. So you can see instead with the swap version, so the one using mouth swaps instead of smooth mouth animation, I just made one panel with all the mouths on, so you can just select the mouth you want. And I still don't know how I feel with this extended panel like this. It felt very wide when I tried to do it with the head, and the head felt wide as well. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep the head to the shape, and I'll just put so if you can see there, I put front text and back text, so that when the body goes to quarterback, and then this text switches off and the back text switches on, along with the swapping of the heads and the body. Okay, I think I covered everything on this section. Again, just ask me any questions you would like to know about this section again, and I'll try and answer as best I can. So back to After Effects. So first of all, we want to pull our artwork inside of After Effects. So let's start with our front. Just busy importing. Stuff showing up on my other screen. Okay. Okay, first one down. So before we get started, I like to do just a little clean up on this section. So before this gets messy, this project window gets messy, I like to just create a nice folder structure for myself. So let's make so I'll go 01. Let's make an art folder. Art folder can hold all these art pieces. Let's make a comps folder, so that can hold all our extra comps. Let's make a rig folder, so that this is where our final rig can sit. So I'm going to put this in my comps folder, so that this can count as my raw file, so that excuse me, if all else fails, we still have an entire composition untouched, everything still in the exact same place. So from this, I'm going to copy all of these, and then I'm going to make a separate composition, or instead of doing that, let's just duplicate this composition, and let's call this one raw, so that we know. And let's call this one rig. I'll move that in there. So now we have a rig comp and a raw comp, so we can close the raw comp since they're all the same. Cool. Let's just go on full just for this section. So first things first, before we start using the duik plugin, we first want to make sure all our pivot points are moved to the correct place. So let's just find the arm. So what I like to do to find things quickly, I'll select the piece, select the object in the viewport, and I just hover over here, hit U twice, and it just snaps over there. I think it works also if you just use position or rotation, and it will just, so if I go all the way to the top, select the piece that's at the bottom, the markers, lock that markers. So I go RR still. So any transform property, or just U, just to bring us there in the layer stacking order. U on the keyboard, if I wasn't clear. Yeah, so first thing you want to do is move the pivot points to where they need to be. So this is why we want to do our markers beforehand. So um, if for some reason, so like if your markers aren't locked, you're gonna, and they sitting right above, you're gonna click on them all the time. You just want to lock them. Before locking them, actually just turn them into a guide layer over here. So right click, turn them into a guide layer. So that means even if you forget to like turn them off after you're done, it's not going to show up in your final render, and like if you forget about them. So you can lock them, and now you don't have to touch them again. What I like to also do, I select all my layers and I just hit this continuously rasterize. So this allows, like if I want to scale, if we create a new composition, right? Let's just do this quickly. So I make a new composition and say like this is my blank scene, and I want to scale my rig. So my rig is that small, but I need him now at a medium or a close-up. So I can now continuously rasterize this outside composition and scale him up, and he won't lose any quality. So now some of you might already know this. To those who don't, that's how you can maintain quality with your rig. So I can scale him up now to any size, and he will still have the same amount of quality as he had when he was at normal size. So first step, just make sure all that is done. We can go and delete this. Cool. So let's get to moving those anchor points. I'm gonna just go silent and do that quickly. Might just do a time lapse as well. This with the head, I didn't put a marker by the head. I know all the layers above the head are all a part of this section. So, and the hair. Should actually move the hair up. Let's put it over there. So I just want to parent them all to the head for now, just so I can see that that is rotating correctly. We can actually go ahead and just pre-compose this. So our first pre-composition, we can just call this head comp. Cool. So now we have all our heads inside of one comp. We can continuously rasterize that. Let's just make sure we move our anchor point. So the head's anchor point is going to sit around about here, middle of his chin. So you can test it out. See, it moves just fine. I can go extreme and it's not breaking. So as you're moving your anchor points, you always want to like test out that they're rotating fine. They don't look too out of place. So you can see the arms are sitting in front of the body, but that's okay. It's okay for now. Okay, what I like to do as well, as I make these comps, I like to color code these things. So I have my head composition. So let's just choose a color what we're gonna have all the head be. So let's just make it orange for now. So now I know my head is sorted out. My right upper arm is sorted out. Let's just do the rest of the arm and the rest of the body. Oh, another thing about these markers, you just want to make them as small as you can so that you can place these anchor points as accurately as you can in the center, because as the After Effects isn't snapping to the marker because it's reading the marker as like one layer. But if say you created these circles inside of After Effects, I think you can turn on a function for it to snap to the actual shape layers. So if you have overload and you want to overload your markers in, go ahead. I would say just delete them afterwards, because you wouldn't want that extra data slowing down your rig in any way, because that's like a bunch of added shape layers in your scene. Another reason why I went with the approach of not having shape layers, just so that the more it's referencing, I think the faster I can run the rig. So it reduces lag if you don't have a lot of shape layers. Well, in my experience. Okay, that's the neck. I think here was the body. So in this case, I didn't put, so I must have deleted the one of the markers, but now I can actually show how I make one of these markers. So I'm using the direct selection tool. I'll copy this, go over to my marker layer, okay, and let's just put it over there. Let's reference that color, scale that down. So because this marker is in the center of all these other markers, it's not gonna throw off the position of the other markers inside of After Effects. If this marker suddenly sat here on the outside and I saved, then suddenly it will change where all these markers are sitting on screen. And let's see that update and put this body piece over there. So I kept the web pattern separate and I kept the symbol separate, because my intention was to create a smooth turning front body. So I still wanted to have that option, even like just to have it with the body swap rig as it is, to have like an in-between certain poses. I even wanted to just have that option that I can always just adjust this and create a quick in-between. Since the arms move smoothly on the body, I can create more in-betweens between each part of the body, so it can be a smooth rotate without me having to create a smooth rotation with the duik connector. Yeah, and also I didn't want to what do I want to say? Yeah, I kept this all one piece. I didn't want to overload this over, because as you can see, it's a lot of pieces on this web, and I don't want After Effects going to read all of that, all that information, all that data, all these points, and I didn't want that slowing down the rig either. So trying to reduce as much lag on the rig as possible, so that you can pose the character with ease. Remember, it's not, you want your rig to move around smooth when you move that out, but you want to just achieve your poses faster, that's all. So that you don't want too much of a slowdown on your posing. So when you're busy doing all your key poses, you just want to be able to get through your poses at a reasonable speed. You don't want to pose the character and wait a minute. You want, I think the most you can wait is a couple of split seconds, but waiting like a whole second can get a bit frustrating. I know a second sounds quick, but yeah, it can get a bit frustrating. But if you have a lot of patience, it's all good. Could just be me. So let's just rotate from there. See, that's rotating fine. That's rotating fine. The leg's not going to rotate like that unless it's turned the other way. That's rotating fine. This is okay. I don't think the foot will never like bend all the way like it, because it will break. I think we'll just go that far in this view. Yeah, I am making more feet with more bends in. You can always, if you're doing walks or anything and you want more bend on the foot, if you don't want to use the extra feet that I made and you want it to be a bit more smooth, you can always just stick some puppet pins in there and bend it however you want. So you can get a smoother bend. Oh, what's happening? Oh, is this thing? Oh, this thing's busy playing. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So you can always go this route. Let's just stick one in there. Stick one in there. So now if I rotate this guy, yeah. So you can do stuff like that. There are other feet poses, and there are other feet artwork, and you can always do something like that to get even more pose out of his foot if you want. But that, I would say, keep that for as a in your animation as a post thing after you're happy with your keys. And you can do that as an extra step to like push the pose or push anything. You can do it to any part of his body once you're rigged to like push the poses even more. Like you're still inside of After Effects, so use After Effects has a lot of tools that allow you to manipulate objects in all kinds of ways. So don't feel like you can't do anything because the rig doesn't allow you. You can break the rig however you want to achieve the pose that you want. So if the rig's not allowing you to do it, use whatever to help you break the rig to allow you to do it.